June 4, 2026, Clarksburg City Council meeting to order.
Councilmember Deems,
Here.
Councilmember Howe,
Present.
Councilmember Hyman,
Present.
Councilmember Jackson,
Here.
Councilmember Worth,
Here.
Vice Mayor Riffle,
Here.
Mayor Malpachetti.
Here.
This evening we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember Jackson.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening, and we ask that as we move into this period of transition in our city, that you lead us and you guide us and you help us to continue to move our city forward. We ask that you guide us and help us in all things that we do so that we can grow our city. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Vice Mayor has a presentation this evening. If the martial arts athletes would come forward.
I'm not the vice mayor.
You guys can come to the front.
Come up.
Yeah. He'll be with you momentarily. Late to everything. Late to everything.
Sherry needs some help.
There's some big words in here. First off, do you want to explain in detail?
Yeah, so we are a martial arts school right here in Clarksburg, just a couple blocks away. We've been established since 2020 right here in Clarksburg. And these kids have been competing all over the country, and some of them even internationally in Quebec and Toronto in Canada. They've been selected to represent the United States martial arts team in Romania this year for the World Karate Championships. They are the only representatives from the state of West Virginia, and they have been training for about 6 years with us. And Hayden is 12, Abby is 15, Cole is 16, and Donald is 17. So it's a big accomplishment for them, and we're really proud of them and appreciate the recognition tonight.
When do you go?
We leave July 20th, and it's a week-long competition.
What's the name? Oh, it's
Swebecon, West Virginia is the name of the school.
yeah, and it starts out of Robert things for street. So I mean, it's just amazing, the great talent that we have in our city. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to honor you guys. You guys deserve great recognition. I've seen you guys been everywhere getting recognized, so that's great. You kids put a lot of hard work, and adults put a lot of hard work. It's good to recognize everybody because so it doesn't go unnoticed. So we have certificates that we would like to get everybody. The first one we give to Jennifer. There you go. All right, next we got Ava Bailey.
Ava's not great.
Donald Myers. Caden Vickers. Cole Vickers. You guys fight at home. No, tell us like one good story. Oh, he's got one.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
But probably the one that wins all the fights is Abby.
It is. She's the best.
So, I mean, I'm going to give everybody you guys a little round of applause. Please keep us updated on your success. We would love to have you guys back after you come back from Romania. And keep it coming.
Yep, hopefully we bring home some golds to the United States.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. If you want to go to the stands, I'd like to face stands.
You guys go ahead. You can do your famous, Cole. You're doing your thing. Yeah, you can do that. There you go. There you go. I'll let you kids do it.
Oh, look out.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Do it towards him.
There you go.
Thank you.
A proclamation. Whereas public service is among the highest callings requiring commitment, integrity, professionalism, and a steadfast dedication to the citizens of our community. And whereas Annette Wright has faithfully served the city of Clarksburg as city clerk since May 6, 1996, providing 30 years of exceptional service to the residents, elected officials, employees, and departments of our city. And whereas throughout her tenure, she has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the efficient and effective operation of the municipal government, preserving the official records of the city, ensuring transparency, and supporting the democratic process that serves our citizens. And whereas her kindness, compassion, and genuine care for others have touched the lives of countless residents, co-workers, and community leaders, making her not only a respected public servant, but also a cherished member of the Clarksburg community. And whereas her knowledge, professionalism, warm spirit, and commitment to service have earned the admiration, respect, and appreciation of colleagues, community leaders, and generations of Clarksburg residents. And whereas 3 decades of service reflect a remarkable legacy of loyalty, dependability, kindness, and devotion to the city of Clarksburg and its people. And whereas the city of Clarksburg is grateful for countless contributions and proud to recognize this significant milestone in her distinguished career. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the city of Clarksburg hereby recognizes and honors Annette Wright for 30 years of dedicated service as city clerk and extends its sincere gratitude for her commitment to excellence, her compassionate service to others, and her lasting impact on her community. Congratulations.
They were big on my 30 years, it's another year. But I truly appreciate all of you doing this for me. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you. See.
She also agreed to 30 more years too.
Thank you all so much. Approval minutes of the regular session of May 7th.
Our esteemed Madam Clerk, I move we approve the minutes from the regular session of May 7, 2026, the conference work session of May 21, 2026, the regular session of May 21, 2026, and the special session of May 28, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Rocky Romano, 205 Candlelight Drive, wishes to address council concerning the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival.
Good evening, Mayor, Malfredjo, council members, and city staff. Tonight, I'm standing before you not as a council member-elect, but as a proud 20-year board member of the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival. Earlier this year, Marcia Villianco and Tim Sharp appeared before council to express concerns regarding the electrical panel boxes used to provide power during festival weekend. Tim Sharp, who has served as the festival's electrician since its inception nearly 47 years ago, has stated that in his professional opinion, these panel boxes are not up to current code, standards, and are not safe and should no longer be used. He has expressed significant concerns about continuing to work on them. I understand there is discussion regarding permanent street-level electrical services being incorporated as part of the downtown streetscape project, and we are certainly encouraged by that possibility. However, until that project is completed, we must address the immediate concerns surrounding the existing infrastructure. Historically, while these electrical boxes are utilized by multiple festivals and events throughout the year, the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival has disproportionately borne the cost associated with repairs, maintenance, and emergency electrical issues. We do not believe that this is fair or sustainable. Unfortunately, there have been instances where damage has occurred outside of our event by other festivals, yet the festival has been left to address the resulting issues because we are the organization that relies on the infrastructure most heavily. When festival weekend arrives, we simply cannot operate without power. We host vendors, entertainment, food operations, cultural exhibits, activities that require reliable electric service. If an emergency issue arises, we have no choice but to address it immediately, regardless of the cost, in order to keep the event running smoothly. If the city has a certified electrician evaluate these panels, the Board of Directors of the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival respectfully request a copy of that evaluation for our records. We believe it is important that all parties understand the condition and safety of the equipment being utilized. Additionally, if these boxes are not going to be replaced prior to this year's festival, we respectfully request that the city consider reimbursing the festival for any emergency electrical repair expenses directly related to the failures or issues associated with these panel boxes during the festival weekend. As chairman of the festival's budget committee, I can tell you that we incurred more than $20,000 in unexpected repairs and emergency expenses during last year's festival. These are dollars that could otherwise be invested into programming, entertainment, cultural activities, scholarships, and improvements that benefit our community. The West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival is now entering its 47th year. It is without question one of the premier events in our city. No event brings more positive attention to Clarksburg or attracts more visitors from across the United States and even internationally. Each year, we fill local hotels, supporting local businesses, and generate significant economic activity throughout the region. As Mayor Malfajo can attest from his years in the restaurant industry, Festival Weekend has historically been among the busiest and most profitable weekends of the year for many hospitality and service businesses in Clarksburg. We are proud of what this festival has accomplished for nearly 5 decades. We are proud to showcase our city, our culture, and our community. We are simply asking for the city's partnership and support in ensuring that we can continue to provide a safe, successful, and first-class event for residents and visitors alike. We respectfully ask that council look into these concerns and work with us toward a long-term solution. Thank you for your time, consideration, and continued support of the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival.
I can provide some insight and an answer. The traffic foreman and public works employees have worked diligently to address several issues regarding electricity downtown. Repairs have been completed by staff and will include replacing outlets, outlet covers, and main wire feeds entering the boxes, as well as inspecting and testing all breakers. To ensure the panel boxes are safe and operating properly, Public Works obtained 3 quotes from licensed electricians to conduct a comprehensive inspection of the panel boxes. The selected electrician will spend approximately 1 week evaluating the systems, certifying the installations, and completing repairs that cannot be performed by Public Works personnel. In addition, one of the main control boxes has been identified for replacement, which will be completed by a licensed electrician as part of this project. Public Works is hoping to have all of these completed by the end of June. If not, it will go slightly into July, but we hope sooner. We do have panel boxes available now for use.
Thank you. I appreciate
And I'll
it.
get you a copy of that report.
We want to just have that on record to show Mr. Sharp, and the bigger concern is having another bill like that because we just can't sustain another $20,000 bill if that happens, if the city would work with us. Because like I said, we have to pay for that repair. We can't wait for anyone to help us out on festival weekend.
Mr. Romano, have you not approached the Black Heritage Festival or the Jesus Fest for contributions?
We have before, and we've been unsuccessful. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave Sutton, 8032 Kidd Avenue in Stonewood, wishes to address council concerning addiction recovery resources.
Hi, my name's Dave, and although I don't live in Clarksburg, my dad, the late Tom Flynn, was mayor for a while. So, but I want to speak on behalf of the recovery community here, because I've been a very active participant for the last 4 years, 3 of them successfully. And so there's a big issue that's a stumbling block for people in recovery to work, and that's the cost of rides to work. And so I've gone to the county commission meeting 2 or 3 times and gave them the spiel, but without much luck. But anyhow, I laid in front of you a copy of the Uber instructions. Like, I got on there the other day, and in 3 minutes, I opened up a premium business account. And the parameters can be set however you like. Who can ride, where they can ride to, from. But it's $30 to go from Staley to East Point. You know, and $60 out of a day if somebody makes maybe $100. It doesn't take long. And, you know, the money would, you know, more than likely go back into the local economy. So actually it wouldn't cost anything. So I'm thinking that it might be a good place to put some of those opioid funds. And I'll remind everyone for every person that, you know, suffers from addiction and then, you know, sobers up, cleans up, it helps several people. You know, the collateral damage done from addiction is terrible. And some of the most affected are policemen, school teachers, emergency services people. So every little step, you know, towards helping people straighten up, it helps, you know, a lot of people. And it's not something that's going to be done in one fell swoop or whatever. It's an issue that has to be addressed in step by step, and sometimes the results might not be real visible, but trust me, you know, they're there. And I think it would be good if you guys can put that on your agenda, or however the procedure is, you know, and kick it around, and, you know, it'd be a great thing. It really would. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Paul Hamm, 315 South Chestnut Street, wishes to address council concerning agenda items 8A, B, C, and D.
Thank you for the time. Dear Mayor and City Council,
Short line than that.
Here, but you can have mine.
the Water Board respectfully submits the following comments regarding new business agenda items 8A, B, C, and D. The ordinances by council proposing charter changes regarding the Water Board are unauthorized and unlawful. The Water Board is an elected independent city board existing under the authority of West Virginia Code Chapter 812-3. As an independent board, unless or until abolished by another charter provision, the Water Board shall have complete and exclusive jurisdiction of the exercise and discharge of the municipal powers and authority and duties so conferred, independent of the control of the city's governing body and administrative authority. Whenever the Clarksburg Water Board was established by charter provision, such board shall act in lieu of the governing body of the city. This means that the only lawful act by council with respect to the Water Board would be a charter amendment to abolish the Clarksburg Water Board. With specific unlawful proposal, the board offers these comments. The Water Board is unsure what deficiencies this legislation addresses. This is because agenda items 8B, C, and D are proposed without consulting the board or its staff. Instead, the board was misinformed that only item 8A was to be put on there for council to vote on. Because water board operations are critical to the public health and wealth of our community, governance issues are best addressed carefully and collegially and not imposed by unilateral fiat. If is dissatisfied with water board operations or governance, the board is ready and willing to work together with council and our shared public to identify shortcomings and strengths and to plan for desired improvements. So the water board has no objection to agenda item 8A, changing the commencement of the board member's term from July 1st to June 1st. The water board does object to agenda item 8B regarding succession and filling of board members' vacancies. This item proposes to overrule duly enacted water board bylaws, Article 5, Section 2. Effective water board governance requires understanding of the water treatment process, water distribution principles, water chemistry, utility rate making, and accounting, and state and federal regulations. Incumbent board members are best qualified to appoint from among an open application process, which the candidate best able to meet these challenges and constructively participate in board deliberation. The water board objects to item 8C regarding term limits for its board members. Given the steep and multidisciplinary learning curve, term limits discourage meaningful participation by experienced elected board members. The voters can impose term limits, not by reelecting incumbents. Water board members serve without benefits like those received by the city council. Perhaps as a result, few qualified candidates volunteer to fill these public service positions. Term limits will further limit the quality and competence of the elected leadership of the board. The water board has no objection to item 8D regarding recall election of board members. The board agrees that its elected members should be subjected to the same democratic process as city elected officials. The board constantly considers ways to improve the quality of our water and the affordability of public water service, including expansion to underserved and overserved areas of Harrison County, including outside of the city limits. These improvements and expansions spread fixed costs over a large customer base, which promotes best cost utility service for all customers. We look forward to planning for the future as full partners with council and ask you to reject these unlawful and destructive charter amendments. Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Howell.
Yeah.
Well, you can stay right there.
All right.
So what if Mr. Sigmund had not been elected and the next lead vote getter was the winner? I don't know how you can object to that. I mean,
We wouldn't.
Did any of you guys have any experience when you first got on the water board?
I had a little bit of experience in business, but I've years of experience now.
Experience,
Yeah.
finance, experience.
I'm speaking to Mr. Howell, please.
City council, you'd ask me to look at it.
And I'm speaking to Mr. Howell, please.
You're looking to recommend.
I have to disagree with that. I mean, you know, just as this council here, the next leading vote getter, if something happens to a council member, the next leading vote getter gets the seat.
But Jimmy, wasn't that a charter change? I mean, we're probably out of turn here because I don't think this is
I agree there.
time
Yeah, I
to
think we should
deliberate.
move on and,
Yeah, this isn't
and
the
discuss
time
it
to
during the
deliberate.
agenda.
Okay.
City manager's report. So council, I handed out the city manager's report. Summer's here and parks are getting busy, splash zones opened up. There's different events at the amphitheater, some are free, some are paid for events. We're replacing a couple of parks this year. After that, we have the code, so we've put in a chart in there so you can see how many NOVs and citations permits are written during the month and what officer is doing what. In addition, 871 structures have been inspected on the Neighborhood Action Compliance Initiative. However, the report I gave you only has the first 3 weeks because when I compiled that report over the last few days, I didn't have the fourth walk numbers yet. There's lots of projects going on. We're working on the grants for demolition and the submissions for the DLAP reimbursement. We're working on the sidewalk, the pump track, the rail trail. We're having LRA meetings, just very busy. The finance department has brought in $985,000 of B&O taxes. The city has issued an RFP for audit services, and the budget for 26-27 has been finalized, published, and submitted and accepted by the auditor's office. The fire department had a total of 303 calls for service. We had a new firefighter start June 1st, and the fire department is up to full staff. The police department had responded to a total of 1,947 calls for service in the month of May. Congratulations to Sergeant Collins and Sergeant Stiers for completing 10 years of service. And motorists are reminded during summer months to watch children playing in neighborhoods and playgrounds, especially when they're running out on the streets. We ask you to, please watch your speed on the residential streets because kids just run out and play. Compost collection routes continue. Crews are cleaning up drainage. They're assisting with asphalt repairs. They power wash neighborhood flower beds. We've installed the flowers throughout the city. It was a little later, but we still made our deadline this year just because of the frost. We've completed the walkway repairs in Northview Park. They've been very, very busy as well. The Robinson Grand has a full month ahead if you go to their website at therobinsongrand.com for more information. Sewer sanitary have been very busy as well. They're also helping to take drives when that construction is going on in Northview and Staley. We've replaced a lot of water lines in conjunction with our storm lines. Obviously, the water board is doing that. We did have our truck is going to be written off, as I all emailed you about. Thankfully, our 2 staff members are okay. And a reminder to the public to please do not flush baby wipes or flushable wipes down the drains. They do not dissolve and can cause blockages in the sewer line as well as damage to the pumps. Behind your city manager report is the Neighborhood Action Compliance Initiative report. So the first 3 walks that we did, there was a total of 971 properties inspected. 165 had no violations, 332 had active violations, and the top violation is protective treatment. In that report, it gives examples of what each category means along with a photo for reference. The next week 4 that isn't included on here, there was 200 properties that were looked at. There's some trends identified in that report. It also identifies quick violations that we can work on to see some change in the city. Also, there's a number of recommendations that we'll be working towards implementing over the next couple months while we do these walks through the neighborhood. Is there any questions about that report?
No unfinished business, new business. Consideration of first reading of an ordinance of the city of Clarksburg, West Virginia, proposing an amendment to the city charter to change the commencement date of the terms of office for the mayor, members of city council, and members of the Clarksburg Water Board from July 1 to June 1 following their election, and providing for a submission of said amendment to the qualified voters of the city for ratification.
Mr. Mayor, to err on the side of caution, I'm going to recuse myself from agenda item A. The reason is I don't feel comfortable with voting on the ordinance that would affect the duration of the upcoming term of an office I was just elected to.
Madam Clerk, I move we consider an ordinance from the city of Clarksburg, West Virginia, proposing an amendment to the city charter to change the commencement date and terms of office for the mayor, members of the city council, members of the Clarksburg Water Board from July 1 to June 1, following their election, providing for a submission of said amendment to qualified voters of the city for ratification.
I got a question. Richard, should I recuse myself as well?
Can I ask a follow-up question with that? Generally, people would recuse themselves because they would financially gain, and an increase of salary a month left is actually going down.
This is a shortened.
It's a shortened one, so is there any reason to recuse yourself, any council members from a vote like this?
The board is not giving any advice on that recently. I will note that the Secretary of State, the state legislature really recently said that all county or all municipalities have to do something. We've already done it to move to even terms. So they clearly envision people voting on this issue. The issue was always, with the previous things that came up, the issue was always that you were seeking to extend your term. It was never mentioned to shorten it. So.
Was there a second, or we just want to have discussions?
Second.
Discussion. Jerry, what do you want to do?
Oh, I'm staying.
Okay.
Giving away money, so I mean, might as well stay.
Yeah.
Is that was your question?
No, no. No, I thought maybe you guys had questions. Start talking, so I
No.
But I'm not sure the reason of the change of terms. I mean, just looking at State Code 85-9, I mean, it says there in that code that municipalities holding the elections, the terms of elected officers shall commence on July 1 following their election and shall be for 4 years. So, I mean, it's not like we're in violation of any code whatsoever. So I'm not really sure what the reason is.
I can speak to that, if you.
And then secondarily, I guess, since you're speaking to that, if we could maybe, I mean, so the ones that have been duly elected for this upcoming term, starting in July 1 of 26, and I guess in Councilman Worth's case, would be the June 30th of 28, and then Councilman Riffle would be the 30. So, I mean, I guess in actuality, they are voting to shorten their term, which, you know, I don't know if it's an injustice to the voters that have already voted on something, but I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up.
Well, my take is, and I'll explain to a gentleman from the newspaper, is that when the Clarksburg voters overwhelmingly supported to change the election, I think unknowingly the current administration and staff at the time didn't realize the election taking place in May would basically extend, not indefinitely, but, you know, for that first time, you would get basically an extra month. And I know that can be argued different ways. However, now with the election taking place in May, you could possibly get up to 3 additional council meetings, possibly 4, when it used to be 1 additional council meeting, possibly 2, depending on when the date fell. So to me, personally, I think that kind of cleans up, kind of fixes what the original charter amendment was back in 2021, to basically move it in line with the election being moved to May. I think that allows basically for the same flow as it originally had when the election was in June. That's the number one reason. I think the second reason is to end council benefits, council pay, and kind of puts an issue with kind of like lame duck voting, as well as maybe possibly doing nefarious things on the last 2 meetings of council, or last 4 meetings of council, in that matter. I guess you could argue what I'm doing right now could have been avoided should I have been if it had been fixed in the original thing. So, I think we owe that to the voters to fix, and that's why I'm offering this amendment. And going back to Mr. Howe's comments, I'm not quite sure where he went. I wrote Jason Myers and I told him that I was going to offer an amendment, and he replied with a thumbs up. A thumbs up. So then a couple days later, I got a message from Chad Sigmund, and Mr. Chad Sigmund, and he wrote to me, and I could tell he was upset. I could tell that he and you and Mr. Howe and maybe Mr. Myers, I don't know, he didn't clearly state it to me, Mr. Myers, that they weren't very pleased with what I was doing. And, this is the way it's always been done. You know what, Mr. Howe? That's a triggering phrase for me. I came to this council not to do the things that have been done always. That's what I came here to do. I came here to change that. So that's why I put this amendment forward. And, I'm sorry if, I kind of left you out, but, I kind of took that personal, as Jordan would say. So, I kind of took that personal. And, that's why we're having this discussion today. So, that's where I'm at on this. I urge passage. Obviously, there was some issues. We had this fixed before that. So the original packet does kind of have some issues with the dates, but it is corrected in the new packet. So,
Councilman Harmon, just for clarification for myself and anyone who may be watching. So even if any of these pass tonight, they still have to go in front of the voters?
Well, not technically, no. And from my understanding is that the way these charter amendments work is they have 2 readings. The second one will be a public hearing. And if they're passed regularly without objection, whether it's formal or written objection, then they'll go into effect immediately. And if there's any written objection or formal objection, which I'm sure there will be, sounds like I've made some people mad. So, I think they're going to come to council and that'll be forced to vote. And so after probably my term ends, there will be another vote rather, to set the date of the election. However, I'm going to offer an amendment which I have written here now, which I'll be offering an amendment to all four of these items. Section 4 of item A here, submission of voters shall be submitted to the qualified voters of the city of Clarksburg for ratification pending a memorandum of understanding and agreement with the Harrison County Clerk in a special election to be held during the general election of Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, or at the next regularly scheduled May 2028 municipal election.
Second.
Do you know what kind of cost that's going to be put back on the city?
I think that's going to have to be discussion with the county clerk. I mean, again, I'm just trying to offer it to get it to the voters as soon as possible. And if it doesn't work out, and if it's cost prohibitive, that'll be you guys' decision. It won't be mine. So, that's the amendment I'm offering. I'll be offering this to every item.
And I'll offer this to every item as well, I guess. But, in the past, there has been a charter board that reviewed charter changes. And the last time it was done, there was not a charter board. And obviously, you can go through and pinpoint a lot of mistakes that were made within that charter changes that have not been consistent throughout. And I think if you had a charter board that came back with recommendations, I think a lot of those missteps wouldn't have been there in the past.
Who's on that charter board, Councilmember Hall?
I don't remember I just know a couple names off the top of my head, but I mean, it's been a while because charter changes aren't something you do every year, but it's been done in the past. I'm sure our city clerk can find those names and see if they're even willing to do it anymore.
Councilman Howe, do you know the last time that was convened?
You? No. It's been over 20 years, 25.
So I believe the original charter was adopted in 1951.
Yeah, but there's been a charter board after that, several. So, but my point is, I think you have somebody looking at these and looking at all the changes consistently throughout the charter that are making the recommendations to make sure they carry through. I can provide you a litany of examples in the current charter changes that haven't been carried through, that have been mistakes that were not corrected when those charter changes were made.
Yeah.
And I can offer to you as well that there's even been charter changes that were made at that point in time that this council voted, not this council, the council previously voted for, that weren't aware that were made because they were not in the red line version that was provided. So there are mistakes that were made, and some, I'm going to use some furious, that were done, that I think were done on purpose, and things wording taken out, which now is not consistent to the water board side of the charter, which state you can no longer hold another public office, but it's in the water board side of the charter. And miraculously, it is not in our charter, and it used to be, but go back and look at the red line version from 2020, 2021, it's not there. So I'd have to propose the person who drafted was the mayor at the time. He did it. He wrongfully removed something and hid it from every council member, thinking if they don't read it, they won't see it. So these things happen, and they're done unbeknownst to the public. Then you look at how the public voted on it and what was brought forth. It's so confusing. I don't know if it's overwhelmingly passed, because I think the turnout for our election was what, 6%? So it's not overwhelming, it's 8% of people turning out.
I think it was around 11.
11, so still stands. So I guess what I'm saying is,
Yeas to nays, it passed overwhelming.
Overwhelming, okay, the end of the day. So I just don't think that if you don't have another set of eyes or people from the public that are tasked with looking at these charter changes, I think it's a mistake just to go in and willy-nilly just start changing things. It really is.
I believe there was an amendment and a second offer.
Well, I'm having a discussion. I didn't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I guess call.
No,
I
I thought you said you had an amendment. I'm sorry.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Councilmember Deems?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
No.
Councilmember Hyman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ripple?
Yes.
Mayor Maffetone?
Yes.
Back to the original item. It's been motioned and seconded. Back to the original item.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what you just called. Is-
That was the amendment.
Yeah, that was the amendment.
That was the amendment.
Yep.
He just made a motion for the original A
As amended.
Yeah, as amended.
as amended.
Second. Sorry.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Councilmember Deans?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
Nope.
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Riffle?
Yes.
Mayor.
You gonna skip me, Madam Clerk?
Oh, I'm sorry, just no comment, I'm sorry, I knew.
It's okay, but I support it.
I
so.
knew, I knew, okay. And Mayor Melvin. Consideration of first reading of an ordinance.
Come back in?
Do what?
Come back
Oh,
in?
yeah, I gotta get him back in. Where's he going?
Mayor-elect, can you join us? Oh, he must have ran off. I don't blame him.
He was sitting right
There he goes.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
No. Don't worry about it.
Consideration of first reading of an ordinance of the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, proposing an amendment to Section 25 of the city charter regarding the Clarksburg Water Board to eliminate certain discretionary appointments and establish a succession process based upon the highest vote-getting unsuccessful candidate in the event of a vacancy, establishing an effective date corresponding with the 2028 municipal election cycle, and provided for a submission of said referendum to the qualified voters of the city for ratification.
Madam Clerk, move we consider an ordinance of the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, proposing an amendment to Section 25 of the City Charter regarding the Clarksburg Water Board to eliminate certain discretionary appointments and establish a succession process based on the highest vote-getting unsuccessful candidate in the event of a vacancy, establishing an effective date corresponding with the 2028 municipal election cycle, and providing for submission of said referendum to the qualified voters of the city for ratification.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Discussion. So again, on this one, and I might speak out of turn on this. I didn't call Jason or Al or anybody on the water board, but just following some of the discussions on the water board, I guess my issue would come, so if this does go to, as you said, a special election that you won't be here to decide on, and we do, again, I think the water board, from my understanding, is thinking bigger. And I think they're thinking bigger than this type of changes for the next couple of items, where it's going to be more regional, or they expand to where the representatives come from, being who their service areas are, rather if it's Clarksburg Country Club, if it's a short line, if it's another public service commission, because they've consumed or taken over some of those, such as Summit Park. Other individuals outside the city limits of Clarksburg could possibly run for those positions if so wish. If those conversations are had with the water board to come back and expand that. So, and that would then take another charter change, which possibly could take another election. So, I think we just need to be careful on moving too quickly. I know you did bring it to our attention the last meeting. You were bringing forth the first item A, but B, C, and D were not on our radar.
Yeah, again,
I'm not done. And I just think that we need to think bigger. And if they're thinking bigger, I think we need to allow that conversation to move forward. Otherwise, we're going to have two elections which could compete against each other on the same ballot, which you want to talk about confusing, you're going to have a more confusing issue.
I guess I need to know is when that conversation will take place, because they've had they've had other areas in their domain for a long time. They've provided water to all sorts of different areas of outside of the city of Clarksburg. Not one single resident of those other areas have ever been able to vote in a Clarksburg water board. I'm down for that. Put it on the agenda. If it's on the next agenda, I would support it wholeheartedly, 100%. I definitely would. Move it countywide or whatever. If you're in a district that they represent, I would support that 100%. Because right now, there's no representation for those people, and that's a shame. But, that's the way we've always done things, right, Al? Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
So back to your point. So I'm glad you had that conversation with them, so they could have told you.
Well, maybe they should have brought it up in like the last 26 years you've been on the water board, Al.
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You're incorrect on that.
23.
Okay, I'm going to offer an amendment. I stand corrected. I'm going to offer an amendment to Section 4, submission of voters. shall be submitted to the qualified voters of the city of Clarksburg for ratification pending memorandum of understanding and agreement with the Harrison County Clerk and a special election to be held during the general election of Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, or at the next regularly scheduled May 2028 municipal election.
Well, I'd like to comment on this. I mean, so anybody that,
Second.
oh, we have a second
Second.
discussion. Okay, so anybody that ran for the water board this time, they just absolutely just threw their money in just for the heck of it. Is what, why shouldn't they be in line if something should happen to a board member now?
Well, I wholeheartedly agree. Maybe you're asking the wrong councilman or members of the water board, because I support that 100%. That's why I offered the.
I mean, that's what we do
That's
here.
why I offered the amendment. Yeah, and you know what? That passed overwhelmingly too. Charter amendment.
And
So-
Mr. Mayor, if my memory's correct, you voted no against that, on that charter change.
I voted no on all the charter changes.
Okay,
We're not all
No on
perfect.
all
We can't all be
charter
perfect.
changes.
It's understandable.
That was personal.
Oh, we probably shouldn't bring personal items into here.
Yeah, well, yeah,
It's all
you
politics.
weren't around when we went through 4 years of hell. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Councilmember Deems?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
No.
Councilmember Hyman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ward?
No.
Vice Mayor Ripple?
Yes.
Mayor Malvern?
Yes.
No, you need to vote on it as amended.
Back to the original motion. It's been moved in second. Correct?
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Nay.
Councilmember Deems?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
No.
Councilmember Hyman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ward?
No.
Vice Mayor Ripple?
Yes.
Mayor Malvern?
Yes.
Consideration of first reading of an ordinance of the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, proposing an amendment to the city charter to establish term limits for the elected members of the Clarksburg Water Board, preserving existing term limits for the city council and mayor, and providing for the submission of said referendum to the qualified voters of the city for ratification.
Madam Clerk, I move we consider an ordinance of the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, proposing an amendment to the city charter to establish term limits for the elected members of the Clarksburg Water Board, preserving existing term limits for the city council and mayor, and providing for the submission of said referendum to the qualified voters of the city for ratification.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I have an amendment. I'd like to move to amend section 4 of this agenda item as well. That reads to, shall be submitted to the qualified voters of the city of Clarksburg for ratification pending a memorandum of understanding and agreement with the Harrison County Clerk in a special election to be held during the general election Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, or at the next regularly scheduled or May 2028 municipal election.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Councilmember Deems?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
No.
Councilmember Hyman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ward?
No.
Vice Mayor Ripple?
Yes.
Mayor Malvern?
Yes. Now we have a motion for C and a second. All in favor?
Discussion.
Good.
Going back to, one thing as our job is to listen to the public. I think the term limits was most strongly passed the first time, more than the other term charter amendments. It was, even though lower turnout, but it was 1,210 votes to 258 votes against.
Overwhelming.
That's how we have to operate. All the messages that I got leading up to this, everybody supports term limits. I support I just believe that you run out of energy, you run out of you're not as active. That's just the way life is. They even say every 10 years you should probably look at a new job, because that's just the way we work. I think term limits is important. I just think you just lose effort. You just quit trying as much. You lose momentum, and term limits need everywhere, nationally, locally, everywhere.
I would agree there, Vice Mayor Riffle. Every poll that I've seen, show over 80% support for term limits at every level, federal, state, and even local. I mean, I just, let's get with the times and let's make it happen.
I have a question just to kind of lay this in comparison. So in the city charter for city council, you can't hold office for more than 8 years at a time, right?
Consecutive.
And then 8 consecutive, and then you could step off, and then you could do another 8, and then you've hit your limit. Which, when I look at this term limit, this is 16 years continuous, which makes it I don't know, almost more. If we're worried about institutional knowledge, which I don't exactly know how I feel about term limits, because I do see the value in institutional knowledge. But you have three water board members that are going to rotate through. You're not going to lose all 3 people at once. I think when you talk about term limits in a place like the House of Representatives, then that's a different thing. But this policy is a little more generous than the one that City Council is governed by. So
I would support an amendment if you'd like to offer.
no,
Yeah.
no,
You going to offer amendment?
And, I feel like with our term limits, we're looking at, Councilman Dean said all 3 of these board members over there aren't going to cycle off at the same time. We don't know what's going to happen. Anything can happen at any given moment that they may lose 2 of those individuals. So, we have to make sure that we are working proactively. We have to put these things in place right now, because once it happens, if anything happens, it's a little late to, play from behind the 8 ball. So, term limits aren't a bad thing.
I am correct in that
They're staggered.
they're staggered.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there was an election of 2 and 24, but that had to do with lining
That was
up.
a special. Yeah.
Okay.
They'd have to be all on a bus or something, and then something happened, and they're all gone at once.
Well, that got dark. Okay.
All right, any more discussion?
Councilman Hyman, did you have?
No, I'm going to stick with the languages as written. I agree to a certain extent, and I'll be the first to say that I'm kind of, when it comes to term limits, especially at the federal level, obviously they put them in for the president for a reason, and I believe they should extend down. But I do also believe in institutional knowledge. But what I don't understand when you say that, or anybody says about institutional knowledge, these lead lines have been in the ground for 70 or 80 years. Where was the institutional knowledge to find and locate that? Where were they at? Call a question.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Councilmember Deems?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
No.
Councilmember Hyman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Councilmember Worth?
No.
Vice Mayor Riffle?
Yes.
Mayor Malpachetti?
Yes.
Consideration of first reading of an ordinance of the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, proposing an amendment to the city charter to establish a voter-driven recall election process for members of the Clarksburg Water Board in accordance with West Virginia Code Section 812.4, defining petition thresholds, procedures, and timelines, and providing for a submission of said referendum to the qualified voters of the city for ratification.
Madam Clerk, I move we consider an ordinance to the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, proposing an amendment to the city charter to establish a voter-driven recall election process for members of the Clarksburg Water Board in accordance with West Virginia Code 812.4, defining petition thresholds, procedures, and timelines, and providing for submission of said referendum to the qualified voters of the City of Clarksburg.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
I'm going to offer several amendments to this one here. The first one, let's start with the easy ones first. Give me a second. Section 2, amendment of the charter provisions. And then below that, section 45. B, referendum going down to number 1, number of signatures, reads 10%. That should read 20% to align with the rest of the language in the document. It should be 20%. So it should read, initiative, referendum, and petitions must be signed by qualified voters of the city equal in number to at least 20% of the total number of qualified voters.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I also have, give me 1 second. Oh, I kind of skipped over this one. It was back at the beginning in the resolution portion of the ordinance itself. In the third whereas, the city council believes it's beneficial and appropriate to extend the recall provisions to members of the Clarksburg Water Board. It should read Clarksburg Water Board. Item D, in the third whereas, it was written as city council. It should be water board. I mean, the language makes it specifically clear and everything, but unfortunately that was overlooked. I apologize.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And lastly, the Section 4 submission of voters amendment, I move that we amend that language to read as, shall be submitted to the qualified voters of the city of Clarksburg for ratification pending memorandum of understanding agreement with the Harrison County Clerk, and a special election to be held during the general election of Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, or at the next regularly scheduled May 2028 municipal election.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration.
We'll go back to the original item, and I have some discussion. I'd like to add, this, to me, this was the most important one, and I'm glad that the water board agrees with it. I really do, Al. I appreciate you and Paul coming to tell us that, because I tell you what, I think if the public knew that they had that ability in the last 2 years, you guys would be gone.
What's that now?
You'd be gone. They'd petition to get you out of here, you and everybody else up there, for the way you've destroyed the roads, you poisoned the children, and you destroyed my vehicle. And I took that personally. So that's that. That's my discussion item.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a resolution of the city of Clarksburg, West Virginia, establishing a one-time downtown construction impact business grant program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I've been an opponent to this, but I'm trying to work together with you guys. And I agree that it needs to be fixed. And so I'm going to support this, just to get it across the line to help out the people who've came and spoke for it.
I have a question.
Yep. Yeah. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Councilmember Dean?
Yes.
Councilmember Howe?
To stay consistent, I'm with no.
I like that. Principles.
Councilmember Hyman?
Yes, I will support it.
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rickle?
Yes.
Mayor Malvado?
Yes.
Consideration of a resolution to approve revision to the city budget for fiscal year 2025, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Is that a second?
Yeah.
Kind of quiet, huh?
Doesn't confirm. All right, bear with me. So in the cover for the revision, under the increase in the city manager for 53,541, what is that personal services?
That includes city manager salary and the community the project manager salary.
It was to accurately reflect the work that's being done that we talked about in the budget, to not have it all under, they're doing work with me, so we wanted it moved over, just like we did with Paula last year.
What are we moving?
Was that Jason Lane? Steve.
And where is that now? Where, I guess, what corresponding is decreased that amount?
Well, I don't think you'll see it because there was funding in, I believe, economic development partially, and then partially, I think he was taking out of two different areas. we did not reduce economic development.
No, 'cause I mean, I see it in there, I mean, the total in economic development is 151,000. So are we decreasing that 53,000 or are we decreasing 151?
We didn't need to decrease because we didn't use the funds there. All of them.
I mean, year to date's 99.
We didn't need to use all of them. Right, so we used the 99, so we did not need to decrease that when we increased the city manager.
Well, I guess what, the only thing I was trying to find is the corresponding, if you're increasing the line item for an individual to move, we should decrease it where they're moving from. So it's consistently.
Right, I guess, but since it was the last end of the year.
But there will be one in July, correct?
Yes.
All right. So Steve is now, I just want to make sure I know who's in these departments. So it's the city manager, Steve, and partially Paula? Okay. No? Oh, okay. City clerk. All right, so the increase in the city clerk, moving to that one. So we moved. All right. So we moved it out of the city manager and into the city clerk.
Steve, you gotta go sit over there now.
What's that?
I was telling Steve to go sit over there now since we're moving.
And then under 417 legal fees for 145,000 to cover excess legal fees. I know what the other legal fees is of 80,000, I believe.
Yes.
And what is the 65,000 increase under the 417?
Yeah, that's clear, because we originally had budgeted to have.
I'm sorry, I
Or I'm sorry, we originally had budgeted to have an in-house attorney for 85,000. We didn't do that this year.
okay, but we increased it to 150.
Right, and I don't know that we're gonna need that much, but because we're still missing a few months of invoices. I just want to be careful.
And then so just I got a couple, got several more for you. On the contributions under 440, municipal debt service fund, is the 104, you see that number, the 104? The actual year to date is 146. So should we not add 42,000 to that line?
No, I don't think that we need to because the overall, I mean, we could, but the overall Department of City Hall is fine. So
Okay.
we have nothing in that department.
And then under traffic department, 752, the travel expenses. Is that correct, the year to date, 21,000?
Piece of equipment delivered.
Okay, and then we just took it out there. Okay. Same thing with that, then we're not adding an extra 21,000 to cover it because the departmental is fine. The next page is on the 752, 459,009, the aerial lift bucket truck. And then at the bottom, this might be me for clarification, 752, 671 aerial lift bucket truck. So year to date out of the first one was 165, and then actual year to date at the second one is 23,299, but we're adding 52 there. So is the first one non-existent now? Or is that going to be the remaining of the debt?
We have a limit, so we are paying the extra. 165. Can't recall exactly if that was a portion of the comment. That was a one time.
That was part of the down payment, maybe? Okay, so should we put in 165 in there for the proposed revision number 2, or again, because departmental is still? Okay.
The department is. I will have that in.
All right, and then vehicles, the 754, 343 accounts. Those were all, again, I guess, let me look at the bottom. Never mind, we won't worry about those, but those were increases I was going to ask about. Yeah, I'm just wondering about these departmentals, like contractual services, like under there, when you get down to the bottom for total contractual services, you know, it looks as though actual year to date's 112, the proposed revisions at 101. So I'm just wondering if we just straighten all those numbers out or not. I mean, they're small numbers, but cumulatively, it just looks like it's all out of whack.
Okay, as long as we
Department at the bottom.
are good, that's the statement then.
Okay, all right. And then lastly, under the, I think it's last, I think it's parks under 900, the 566, Frank Loria turf, my favorite subject of parks. So the revision's 46,000 decreased. So I guess my question becomes, did we not pay it off this fiscal year for the 46?
You thought we were paying it off, I don't know, I think
They came to us and told us it was paid off.
Okay, so I guess what I don't want to do is penalize them, because I guess they paid it off out of their special fund. Because it's not reflected in our fund. But I would, so did we move the 46 totally out of this budget?
I believe we talked to them about that, and they didn't ask us for it for one.
Because I believe they are also in the process of, or completed, I don't know, but they were doing additional work at Frank Loria Field for conduit, lighting, and things like that. So I don't know what that total cost was, but I think we should probably, you know, since we're decreasing that.
We can talk to them, and if they need it, then we can change that back over.
Should we do that the next year?
Yeah. As long as
we had it this year, so that's why I was trying to catch it now, but, Yeah, I don't know either. Okay, I think that's it for me.
Finished?
Yeah, I think so.
No amendments?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of the replacement of the outdated governor system with a modern Hollister Whitney overspeed governor assembly for the elevator at the Baltimore in the amount of $20,326.19.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of the approval of the funding of an opioid grant request of the Clarksburg Mission for the reimbursement of 25% per van in an amount not to exceed $30,000 total contribution from the city, with said purchases to be made within a 12-month period.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. On this item, I guess I have a question is, so what are they actually asking for? Because in the request, there were purchase of 2 cargo vans. So are they purchasing 2 used vans?
Yes.
And are they estimating the value 50 to 60,000, correct? Based on it here?
Yes.
Okay, and then we're saying the reimbursement of 25%, but they want the lump sum grant of 40,000. 25% of 60 is 15.
So because it's a reimbursement grant, they have to go buy the vans. They've also told us that they are looking for grants from other, in their updated application.
Right.
They were looking for grants from other entities. If they aren't able to fundraise, they will only buy 1 van. When we looked at the cost, they attached some used vans. The cost range any between 11 to 18,000. The reason we said 25% is because we don't want people, entities. We want to make sure they're exhausting all options of going to the West Virginia First Foundation. When we have a very limited amount of opioid funds, and you have $750 million sitting at the West Virginia First Foundation, they should be sharing the lion's share of that cost, not the city of Clarksburg.
I would 1,000% agree to that. So I guess that's my point, is that 25% of 1 van is 15, so the max is 30.
Right, so if they come back and they say we bought 1 van for 2 vans, their total was 50,000, we'll give them 25% of 50,000, and they have to purchase them first. Last time we did it, we actually wrote the check to the person that they were buying the vans from. The West Virginia First Foundation said we're actually not able to do that. So to protect the integrity, and this isn't directed at any one organization, but to ensure the funds are going to exactly what council is approving, once they're purchased, we will reimburse that amount via check from our opioid funds to that organization.
These vans are for transportation?
These are for food rescue and clothing rescue.
Oh, the last ones were for transportation. Okay,
That's
got it.
correct.
So just for clarification, so they will purchase the vans and they have some money from a grant, that's a reimbursement grant, right?
That's what we do, yes.
And
So
so-
once they submit the invoice or the receipt that they paid, we will, same day, give them a check for 25% of the cost of each van.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's something that's clarified in the MOU that we can do.
Well, it doesn't say how you would reimburse them, but, or how you would give people the funds, but that is the best way to protect funds, to ensure that, and again, it's not directed at any one organization, but if someone applies for a grant and you write them for $50,000, you have no way of actually verifying where that money went without going into somebody's bank account, or if it's paid on a credit card. They could say we spent it on that, doesn't mean they actually did. A reimbursement grant absolutely ensures that the money that council is saying, yes, you can use, goes to what they're saying they were going to use it for.
And that's, I think that's good practice. It was just wanted for clarification that sort of process was something that was acceptable in the MOU.
They don't give any outline, they don't give any guidance that I know of how you get the money, which we can't do, they've now said, is we can't pay the third party directly. So if they went to the local Chevy dealership and said, we picked up these 2 vans, can you write them the check for those? That is not allowed.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Council comments?
Mr. Dean?
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Again, congratulations to the city clerk. Thank you for all of your hard work and dedication to our city. It shows on a daily basis. Yes, I'm glad that we finally got the business grant program across the finish line. That has been a journey to get that done. You know, like I said, this expansion was a matter of plugging some gaps that we missed the first time. So I'm appreciative of the support to get that done, and I respect the no on principle. The other big thing we talked about tonight was the water board. You know, here's the Councilman Hyman and I spoke this afternoon, and I think that it's kind of a tough position when you're talking about charter changes, about what the role of council is as a gatekeeper, whether, you know, it's got to go to the vote of the citizens. And so the way I viewed this was, you know, do I think that any of these charter changes would harm the city government, or, you know, did I think that they would give citizens better access to their government? And that's why I voted yes to pass them. I don't think they're going to cause harm. I think it gives citizens more control. You know, we have a second reading, and we can have discussions between now and then. And you know, at the end of the day, the citizens deserve a voice. You know, looking specifically at these complaints, or not complaints, the points about why the water board isn't in favor of these. You know, the effective water board governance requires understanding of all these things, of the water treatment process. And, you know, Mr. Cox, I really do respect you and Mr. Howe and Mr. Sigmund. You know, I think that one of the things I love about government in West Virginia is if you've got the money, you can show up and you can sign up to run, and there it is. It's very low barrier. There are other places where you have to petition, you have to do all of those things. And, you know, should we go to a petition system? I don't know. I think that sometimes it unnecessarily gatekeeps good candidates. But I think with everything, you learn on the job. You know, when I got here to city council, I'm not making decisions. I am making decisions about HR, but, you know, or budgeting or all of these things. We have resources on our staff to ask these questions, to learn and to grow and to build that knowledge so that we can do these jobs well. And I think anyone up here will tell you if I have a question, I ask it. And, you know, I think that's what happens what any board member should do when they walk into something and they don't understand what's going on. They need to ask questions, and that's how you learn. Going back to the city manager's report, can you elaborate a little bit on that pump track meeting, or like what the discussion process is there?
Jason's not here, so I'd have to ask him and give you an update.
Okay, if you could email that out to council, that would be appreciated. I do appreciate you for this, putting together this report. I will admit, I probably will have questions. I didn't ask questions earlier because it's a lot of information to go over while we're going through these things, or while we're going through the meeting. But thank you for compiling that report. And Mr. Sutton, thank you for speaking tonight. You know, I do hear from people that transportation for people in recovery is a big deal. And, you know, one of the things I think Clarksburg has done well in the past year or so is we have made strides in helping those in recovery. I appreciate your ideas, and you know, I think that I would urge council that while we do have finite resources with opioid money, I do think we need to move and start to make some waves with that money and positively impact our community. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson.
I would like to begin by congratulating the city clerk on 30 years. Only thing I've done consistently for 30 years is actually eat. You know, I can't even say sleep because that doesn't happen on the regular. But congratulations to you. The grant program, I'm glad to see it finally go across the line, and you know, we can get that taken care of, put that to bed, and you know, basically when that was put together, the spirit of that was very good. There were some holes in there that we didn't foresee, and you know, it was brought to our attention very, very, you know, very broadly. It was brought to our attention, and you know, I hope that this takes care of that situation, and you know, we can continue to move on down the road now. As far as the ordinance changes, you know, I do believe that I believe these were necessary. I think this was a good move in being proactive. You know, when Mr. Deems was talking about institutional knowledge, you know, it's not good when one or two people hold all of that institutional knowledge, because if one or two of those individuals goes away, then that knowledge goes with them. So if you're not training up other individuals, then basically you lose that knowledge, that basic knowledge, and it's hard to regain. So, you know, I think that this is an opportunity to open those doors and let other individuals start to run. You know, 16 years is a long time to be in a position. So, you know, basically, you know, I just think that, you know, these were the right decisions to be made, and, you know, I support these wholeheartedly. Other than that, you know, thank you all for coming out, and, you know, we'll see you in the next meeting.
Mr. Hyman. Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to reach out and say thank you to our esteemed clerk, Annette. I appreciate all your hard work in the 5 years that I've served on council, and I'm sure we'll be in touch because I have a feeling that I'm going to be doing a little bit more of this when I'm off council. I'm going to be carrying petitions, and you know, I was looking at this letter from the water board, and it says right here, it says, such board shall act in lieu of the governing body of the city. This means that the only lawful act by council with respect to the water board will be a charter amendment to abolish the water board. And you know what? I think that would probably be less than 1,100 signatures. And I guarantee you there's 1,100 people in the city that would sign up and maybe sign it several times for how frustrated and upset they are over the status of the roads, the lead line issue, the construction. and we can make that happen. Unfortunately, they hold a lot of bonds and debt. 30 million, I think it's going to be after all this stuff clears. And, that's going to come with rate increases, and, the city will have to assume that if that's the case. So I don't know. Maybe people wouldn't support that. I don't know. Maybe we can go back to well water or something. I think that may be the route. But I was looking at Mr. Sigmund's comments in the paper about how it could be dangerous if we appoint. There's no requirement to serve on the Clarksburg Water Board or on Clarksburg City Council, except for to be a citizen, a resident of the city of Clarksburg. And I think the former member of the Water Board, when Chad Sigmund, he got in trouble for that. He wasn't a member. He wasn't a resident of the city of Clarksburg. I remember if it didn't get a lot of attention in the newspaper. Maybe you should look into that one. But I think we'd be a little bit more attentive to all that stuff if we kind of knew what was going on with the Water Board. And that's why I'm calling this the Water Board Accountability Act. I think it's got a good name to it. And I think that's what the citizens want. I think that's what I'm trying to deliver here. And I think it will go through. And guess what? I think it'll pass overwhelmingly, every single one of these amendments. And I hope they do. And if they don't, maybe I'll carry that petition. I got a couple others in mind, like making the general manager of the Water Board be a resident of the city of Clarksburg, just like the city manager. But maybe abolishing the Water Board may be on that menu too. So we'll see what happens see how all these votes go. It can change from meeting to meeting. I hope you guys in the audience, I hope you guys preserve the charter amendments, and you look at the charter and you see what's wrong with it now, like Mr. Howe presented. There are some issues. I mean, and the clerk, we're looking over them, kind of stuff that got left in, stuff that wasn't really removed. Take it up, put it to vote. I have a feeling that none of those would be opposed and they would pass immediately. And we'll see how that goes. I'm sure you guys will be good stewards of the charter. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about it. The whole grant program, I didn't support it initially. I wanted to support it because it was fixed. And I wanted to make sure it got to the people who needed it. And that's another people who were affected by this whole construction project, going back to that issue, is the businesses of Clarksburg. I mean, that's why we did the grant. We gave them money because they tore up the road and nobody was coming downtown. I mean, we have some accountability issues here. And, going back to my 2020 run on council, my campaign slogan was integrity, accountability, and action. And my biggest regret serving here on this council is not being more active and getting to. And there were some issues along the way, kind of stymied, had to reset the charter amendments back in 2023. And, there's some reason behind that too. And Mr. Calvert's issue with not being a resident of the city of Clarksburg. But, I think we got there. We figured it out, and this council figured it out. And I think, we'll figure it out going forward. And I know you guys will take it to task. So I hope everybody has a great Friday tomorrow, the Red, White, and Blue celebration down in Jackson Square. I wish I could make it. It's my daughter's dance recital over at Bridgeport High School with API. So unfortunately, I cannot enjoy some adult beverages on the street in the POTA, in the POTA that we voted for. So other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll do it again one more time in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Curtis Fleming, Wayne Worth.
I just have just a couple of things, and maybe just one thing. I just wanted to congratulate Annette. There's the best, and she's the best, and then there's the best of the best, and I think she's elevated to the level of the best of the best. 30 years of service. I mean, you're talking about an encyclopedia of past councils and city government and knowing how it runs. And I tell you, Annette, you're a treasure. I just want to let you know that. I know I tell you fairly frequently, how grateful we are to have you, here at the city. So you're not the best, you're the best of the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is that it?
That's it.
Mr. Howe?
Thank you. So Councilman-elect Romano, I appreciate you coming and speaking on behalf of the Italian Festival Board. I had on my notes to bring up as well. Because it was brought to our attention 2 months ago. I think there still is a concern there, and I hope we do come to a quick resolution for those panel boxes. They are used widely by other organizations throughout the city. Anytime there's events at Jackson Square, they're utilized there. So, I think the cost does bear upon the city to get those done. So I do agree with that wholeheartedly. And I just hope that we can get a resolution and get them fixed before then. Just follow up on 525 Stanley Avenue. If and I don't expect you to know it off the top of your head, but if I can get an update.
You know it.
You know it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was sold on Monday on an auction to Huntington Bank. However, there's somebody trying to acquire it from Huntington Bank who wants to renovate it and flip it. That is the latest update that we have. It is on the condemnation list.
Okay. So it's been on the condemnation list for
a while. So we tried to contact the financial institution to see if there was a way for us to acquire it because the house isn't in terrible condition. Unfortunately, there's liens on the house, which makes our position much more difficult. So this person who wants to renovate it and sell it as a single-family dwelling is working towards doing that. I'm hoping that will work out. If not, I'm hoping the bank will sell it again and we can get a family in there to keep that house.
Are we requiring that individual to come to the Board of Code Appeals to present a plan of action to bring it up to code and to make sure that the residents in that neighborhood have an opportunity to hear it?
Well, it's not on the demo list. It's only on the condemnation list.
Well, but it's got to come, it's got to be.
So we
well, but it's been on there for 10 years.
I understand.
So, I think, to be condemned, I still think they would have to come to the Board of Code Appeals to take a look at it.
Historically, we will give out permits if they give us we ask for a document on what their renovation plan is, and we give a limited time permit to make sure they get it done. That's how we've done it for years.
All right. I would just recommend this one's going to be a highly controversial one, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on it. I would just make sure that we dot our I's, cross our T's. Okay. Because it's in horrendous shape, and God forbid something happens, the house next to it is not going to survive. Because they're very close.
Okay.
Speaking of demolitions, I don't know if all council's aware, but House Bill 4801 becomes effective June 10th, which allows demolitions to be permitted utilizing the city's hotel motel tax as well. So that's a plus. So if we can hold off on 525, we can have some money. House Bill 5065 becomes effective on June 12th. Again, the hotel tax. So now that brings in Airbnbs. So we need to make sure we start watching that. I don't know how many we have, but hopefully they'll see a little revenue bump there. City charter changes, again, just to touch base on that. It's not that I'm against them. I'm just would like to have consistency, across the board. They're not really consistent. There's gaps within the charter. These don't even mirror exactly the charter, how it was changed, and there's still issues within the charter. And again, I'm a staunch proponent of allowing the citizens a seat at the table, and I firmly believe we should have a charter committee and review what charter changes are made, bring them to the council, have a work session, discuss them, and move them forward. And same thing is, when we're affecting other pertinent parties in the charter, I think we need to have those discussions with them as well, just to make sure, get their input on it. Maybe they have other changes they may want to address within those same charter changes. So, I think moving forward, we just need to make sure that everybody has a seat at the table and we're discussing them throughout. And then somebody called me. Have we been contacted regarding the 250 year for fireworks on July 3rd? Have you been contacted about that?
Yes, I think it's the Bridgeport CVB, I think it is. Or a gentleman would like a contribution, they're holding it up on Bridgeport Hill. We give a contribution every year.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, he reached out to me on Tuesday and I told him I'd bring that up. And then I guess lastly, well, no, not lastly. So on the downtown construction impact business grant, again, I did vote no, but I voted no against the original one. And my reasoning there was there's going to be issues. And there was issues. And even with the new grant, I still feel there's issues. And I think personally, all of those businesses now have been, to me, they're still negatively impacted. They're still not getting what the other businesses got. And I just don't think that's fair and equitable across the board. So therefore, I remain voting no on those. So I appreciate that. Now, lastly, congratulate Annette, myself. I've had a good 18 years working with you, Annette, and I've got to personally see the fine job you do on a daily basis. I know the respect that you gain and garner statewide from the other city clerks. So we greatly appreciate everything you do, and we appreciate your input whenever we request it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Riffle.
Got several things. Everybody relax.
Start the clock, please.
So I want to thank staff for the Neighborhood Action Compliance Initiative. And I also want to challenge all council members that while we are doing this, we need to support our staff. When we get messages or emails or complaints from the citizens, just because who they are, it doesn't mean we should not hold them compliant as well. And if we don't do that, our staff will lose confidence in them doing their jobs if we jump in the way and stop things that should be happening. There's going to be people's going to be pushing back. This is something we've needed for a while. We really need to clean this city up, and it's going to take a big task like this, and citizens will push back. Now, obviously, every complaint or anything that comes in should be, you should consider it. But if we don't support our staff, they won't be able to do their job. So I challenge all of council to do that. Not that anybody hasn't. I'm just saying I know it's coming in. I've already gotten a few complaints myself. I handle it like I always do. Just I support our staff. I asked questions and it was resolved. But nothing was changed because our staff was doing their job. I would ask, I know we were giving money, we considered giving money to the mission for the opioid funds. I know one thing the mission is, over the last several years, they went through like a narrative change, and I would like to ask them to come back and kind of give us an update where they're at, how things are going. I hear nothing but positive things, but I know to the overall city, there's still people out there that believe negative connotations of what the mission is. And since it's made great strides and it is in a much better place than it was several years ago, I think we should update the community. And I know Ms. Underwood would probably be more than happy to give us an update. Annette, you survived 30 years. I mean, that's like, how do you because I mean, just a lot of people know, like, Annette is our employee as well as the city manager. So she survived all kinds of different council members. Some wild ones, some conservative ones, some everything you can think of. We've had them all sitting up here. Now we are the perfect group right here, so she has nothing to worry about, but she has survived a very long list of people. So congratulations on surviving. You're not leaving, right?
Not anytime soon.
Okay, you got that. All right. But thank you. We got Red, White, and Bruised coming up. I want to thank all the staff. Trevor's done an amazing job. Putting these type of events together, put together a committee. Trevor, again, you've done a great job leading that. The rest of the staff, parks, citizens, Kim, Kurt, Everybody's been all in. I think you guys are having a meeting today, right? Right at that, like when I was leaving my house, like that's what it takes to put on great community events. And so thank you to the staff for initiating that and looking forward to it. First Fridays is also a lot of good events for the kids. The fire department's going to bring big splash. They're going to bring splash zone. I don't know how else to call it. Things. Watch. Yeah. There's going to be water coming out of the fire truck, and kids are going to run.
Thank God.
I understood what
The grant program. I understand. Like this is how government should work. We come up with an idea. It's not always going to be perfect, but then the community reaches out to us and say, hey, you made a few mistakes. We fix it, and we get it done. It shouldn't have took this long at all. It should not have taken this long. That was very frustrating. That's the most frustrating part. It should not have taken this long, but I appreciate the community reaching out, and that's not always easy. But you fight for your business, and you reach out, and we'll do the right thing. We'll get it right. Especially for something like this. This isn't something that's happened. This doesn't happen in any other cities. I looked when we thought about this idea. Wheeling didn't do it when they had their downtown under construction for seemed like 20 years. So this is something new. But I'm glad we got it right, and I'm sure staff, community, everybody's happy that we got this finally done. The biggest thing, the agenda items. Institutionalized knowledge is important. I get it, but there's also like a magistrate is you don't need to have a law degree. You are elected based on making common sense decisions and being a voice for the citizens. Now, if we are transparent in what we do, the citizens know what we're doing, and they will tell you their opinions. We have 16,000 people in the city, and very intelligent people that will tell us when we're doing something wrong. They will give us opinions. We just need to take the information and make the right decision. The magistrate doesn't have a law degree. They need to make the right decision, and they are voted on to do that. We need to give everything to the voters. This is what this does. I have nothing against current water board members. I have nothing against just term limits, all these things. It passed. It was a very strongly passed. So what are we going to do? Say no? If you voted against it, Councilman Howell, I understand you have different opinion on it, not the overall. You stated that. And I never knew we had a charter board, and I'm all for getting that back if that's something needs to do. So I respect your decision on voting no. But if you voted no and you didn't have a reason, you're just telling the citizens you don't respect their opinion because it strongly passed before. So let's hold all government officials accountable. So I think that's where I'm at on that. I'm glad Councilman Hyman. I like his fire. I'm going to miss him up there. You guys that are replacing him got some big shoes to fill. But he won't go away. He'll stay active, and I'm glad he won't go away. So, and I hope you start the petitions. I hope you show the citizens and kind of be a leader in showing how accountability works. And I know you've done that before you got on council. I expect you to keep doing that. So I look forward to that role of you as a citizen. Maybe you'll come back up here one day.
You'll be the first signature I get.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's all I have, and so everybody enjoy this weekend.
Thank you. See something, say something. Dial 911, please. Congratulations to the police department. They kicked the dog poop out of the fire department in softball the other day. Sorry, boys. What else? Annette, thank you. I've been with you for 13 years, so I appreciate it. Excuse my French, but I want to know what the hell happened with the 2nd Street ramp that now it's not aligned.
So there was apparently when it was designed, there was miscalculation. And they're trying to figure out to fix it. What I was told, because of the weight of some of the material, the different options aren't exactly going to work, so they're working on a solution. But right now, it's like this.
Tear it down.
The engineer was off by 2 feet in their design, right?
It's 2
2
feet?
inches.
2 inches? Okay.
2 inches.
So
Okay.
No,
Say
2
2
inches.
feet.
Oh, you told me 2 feet.
No, 2 inches, yeah.
Well.
But that's enough to make a big
That's
difference.
So I can tell everybody's been 2 feet, so they're pretty pissed off.
See, I lost my train of thought.
Who's adjourned?
No. You interrupted me. As
Trying
you
to
always
help your
do.
answer.
Let's see, Annette, Second Street Bridge, see something, say, oh, don't forget First Friday, everybody, have a nice weekend. Call for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We're done.